Christmas in New York City. Isn't it great? The lights, the storefront displays, the I'm walking is. Except
this isn't New York. I left New York yesterday and flew 3,000 miles here.
To Vancouver, British Columbia.
What?
I know, I'm sorry, but it's actually not the first time that you've been lied to like this. Vancouver and its surrounding towns have been the accomplice to a plethora of lies across movies and television.
It's where many a Christmas movie love interest has returned home to re-fall in love with the holiday, their hometown, and their high school sweetheart. Spruce Grove, Washington? Nope. Fort Langley in Canada. New York City? Nah. Martini Town, a studio space just outside of Vancouver.
Wow.
Clearly, Christmas productions are big in Canada, but Vancouver has also been
I
Seattle,
always see
New York
that
City, New Hampshire.
film in Vancouver, Quebec, Toronto. I see the tag on the end of the movies.
Hampshire, India, and just a short drive away,
It's where Clark Kent, aka Superman, grew up in rural Kansas. Right there, at that barn.
But what is it about a place like Vancouver that makes it so attractive to filmmakers? I mean, it's not like it's impossible to shoot in New York. And there's gotta be a great barn in the state of Kansas that would have worked for the Kent family farm.
So, why do so many films fake their location?
Number one reason why we shoot movies in Canada. We claim Santa to be our own, us Canadian. He lives in the North Pole in Canada.
That's Jesse Prupus.
I'm the Senior Vice President of Scripted at Muse Entertainment, and I've produced Swindler Seduction, Not So Royal Christmas, and Hot Frosty. The number one decision that determines where a movie is going to film is really the locations that are being called for in the script.
One of the reasons that areas like Vancouver and Atlanta have become such hotspots for filmmaking is because they have a lot of different types of scenery in very close proximity. You've got downtown, suburban areas, mountainous regions, rural landscapes, and even a temperate rainforest. And all of this is just a short drive from the city.
So while you kind of have to be in New York to convincingly pull off a stroll past the Washington Square Park Arch,
If you just want to be in middle of nowhere Manhattan or anywheresville, USA, it's pretty achievable to do that anywhere that has a dense enough downtown and beautiful rolling hills. And it's much easier and cheaper to do it in a place like this on the outskirts of Vancouver than it would be in a city like New York.
New York is one of the most expensive places to shoot in the world, some of the most expensive hotel rooms in the world, so it becomes very unaffordable to shoot in New York, as much as I dream to do so.
The other big consideration is weather. LA, Atlanta, Vancouver, all of these cities have a lot of warm, sunny days throughout the year, which means that productions don't have to fight Mother Nature to get their job done.
because even something as simple as rain can cause major issues.
I'm like, oh my God, it's going to rain in 2 days. We have an exterior shoot. What are we going to do? It means double booking locations. It can be very pricey to do that, but it's a factor.
And generally speaking, movies are filmed out of season anyways, so you want to make sure that you have the most flexibility, even if it's uncomfortable.
I would love, frankly, to shoot more Christmas movies in the winter. Very often we end up shooting a lot of these Christmas movies in the spring or in the summer. The actors are sweating away.
This bottom layer is just to soak up the sweat. It's nothing but sweat from here down.
So we're making fake snow, but it's also part of the magic. So often you'll show up in July and we are, on the town square and it's been all snowified and there you are, it's Christmas in the summer.
Let's take a second to talk about the sponsor of this video. To have production-friendly locals and officials.
I know that when a Canadian movie producer shows up to shut down streets in New York, that's it's probably not going to happen, and probably rightly so, because there'd be the resentment of thousands of New York residents against us.
New York City has a population of 8 million. Vancouver has just over 700,000 people. Langley, a municipality of Vancouver that's about as hallmark as you can get, has a population that's just under 30,000.
When you go to a smaller town, the police chief wants to play ball, there's a bit more excitement and willingness to work with producers in these smaller towns, let me put it that way. Another nice thing about a smaller size city is often there's less traffic. I've had unionized actors in traffic jams for an hour and a half, and you have 5 or 6 of them and they're all making overtime, especially if it's the end of the day. That can be very pricey.
It's all about finding the sweet spot between somewhere that's not so crowded that it's really difficult and expensive to film, but also not so empty that there's no one around to work.
In these medium-sized cities, There's 1 or 2 crews that will work on television movies pretty much throughout the year. So you can tap into that experienced talent for those things.
But if a studio or production company really wants to get the best bang for their buck, they need to account for something less flashy: tax incentives.
Tax credits are also a factor for any major movie production, and they're offered, frankly, around the world.
Basically, the government reimburses you for some portion of the cost of your production, as long as you meet their criteria. In Vancouver, you can get tax credits of up to 28%, with no spending cap. To qualify, you have to have a certain percentage of local crew.
And that's one of the reasons that Canadian-based productions will often have a Canadian star or producer in the mix. Filming in specific qualified areas can boost your tax credits too.
Like this regional ice skating rink that has shown up in a ton of Hallmark movies. Even post-production and animation qualify for tax credits, which is one of the reasons a movie like Into the Spider-Verse had a primarily Canadian workforce.
Typically for regional BC, we're counting on about 30%. And so yeah, $300,000 on $1 million you're hoping to get back.
Georgia offers 20% for meeting the basic requirements and an extra 10% if the film includes the state logo in the credits. You've probably seen it before.
Yep.
California offers a lesser 20 to 25% on local productions, and that comes with a cap. You can get a bit more money if you film outside of the usual zones, but it's not as alluring as other places. Countries like Canada, the UK, Australia, and Malta have gotten quite competitive with their tax breaks, which has meant that fewer films are being made in the US these days. But a lot of them are still catering to an American market, which contributes to this faking of locations.
American audiences are seeking content that's set in America. So one of the reasons why so many Christmas movies shoot in Canada is because there's lots of parts of Canada that look like New England or northern United States, Midwest, even parts of the northern Pacific area. There's parts of Canada that really resemble that as well.
It's the time-saving, money-saving location choices that ensure that independent filmmakers and studios can make movies happen, especially the lower-budget holiday films.
If you're in the television movie game, if you're making, like I am, like our company is, films for Hallmark and Lifetime and occasional films for Netflix that need quaint cities, you're going to shoot these in the regional areas of Canada largely, or other states, I would say.
As I head back to New York now, I know I'll see a lot more of Canada on my TV later, but that's the magic trick of it all, isn't it? Knowing that what you're seeing on screen isn't entirely real. If they can make you believe that it is, though, that Santa does live in the North Pole in Canada, or that Midwestern love story is genuine, then it doesn't really matter where it was filmed, because the trick is being pulled off.
All right.